Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking club rugby. Well, of course, as you know, last week, Western Province Rugby went out to a number of schools in the Cape Town area, partnered again with United Way. United Way, of course, came on board with Western Province Rugby last year and handed out more than 1,000 food parcels to various clubs in Western Province. A fantastic initiative. Well, they're back. They went last week to the schools, partnering with Pay It Forward to hand out books at some of the schools. On the line with me now is the Executive Director for United Way, Chuma Kwalela. Chuma, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have you here.
Hi JP. Thank you for having me. And yes, good to be back from United Way, South Africa.
Yeah, so great to be chatting with you, Chuma. As I mentioned there in the run-up, you're back. It was a fantastic initiative last year where we saw you guys partnering with Western Province in terms of the outreach project and the food parcels. But this year it's something slightly different. You celebrated together with Pay It Forward last week. You celebrated World Literature Day.
Absolutely. So last week, as you know, was World Literacy Day. So we partnered with Pay It Forward SA and had a partnership in Province Rugby to donate books this time around. So as you know, we believe in education being the key to the future. So from a point of view, we managed to get about 2,500 books, which with the partnership with Western Province Rugby managed to be distributed to the school around Western Cape. So personally, I'm very excited about this initiative because I believe in the power of education. I believe books to really change lives.
Is that one of the cornerstones of United Way? We know that last year, you've got big other partners such as 3M, but is education one of the cornerstones of United Way?
Absolutely. So education is a key cornerstone for United. So we currently in Gauteng in terms of our office, where we're sitting in Gauteng, but we've got partnerships in Western Cape, provinces in South Africa. So we're working with the schools, everything from ECD, early childhood development, to the primary high schools. We also offer bursaries to schools at universities. So absolutely a key cornerstone for us as United Way South Africa.
Now, last week we saw Western Province together with the Women's Collective going to a number of schools, a double effort there, of course creating awareness for women's rugby, and also then of course assisting with the World Literature Day. Why from your side, why Western Province Rugby?
Yeah, so we had a wonderful partnership with Western Province last year during COVID-19. As we remember, it was really dire times when we had lockdowns in the country last year. Food security became a serious problem. When we have lockdowns, people that have informal work are not able to go out to work. Western Province Rugby has a good community presence. So they have the relationships within the communities, which is critical for us as United Way, be able to reach the beneficiaries that really are in need of this food parcels, are in need of education, which is our other pillar. Our relationship with Western Province went extremely well last year with 3M as our partner that came in for the food parcels. So we basically continuing going forward. We love to have this long-term, sustainable partnerships so that the change that we make in the community is long-term such that we can create. So we absolutely are very happy with the relationship with Western Province Rugby, and we see that long-term continuing relationship.
Chuma, give us a little bit more information about United Way itself. Of course, a big organization. We know that you've got partners such as 3M. What are the type of projects that you would now ordinarily be involved in terms of your calendar going to the end of the year? I mean, you mentioned, of course, education and so on, but are there any sort of projects that people can connect to right now that one can think of?
Well, I mean, so United Way in South Africa, we've been around since around 2013. So we'll be approaching 10 years. Internationally, we have been around across the world for over 130 years.
130 years?
Originally founded in, oh yes, absolutely. It was founded around 1820 something. I don't have the exact date, but in Denver, in the US, there's actually across the world 1,800 local United Ways in 41 countries. We are in South Africa, we in Nigeria, in Ghana as well. So quite a big organization. We do projects for schools, so children in school, but we also work with other partners such as the University of KZN, and in Johannesburg, we're working with the of Johannesburg culture programs because we believe that the ability for people to generate an income is also quite critical to the livelihoods of the people around us. So programs that we run. We also have programs on health. We've had a wonderful relationship with the South African Reserve Bank, where we've been able to bring to the Reserve Bank to get vaccines to deal with the COVID-19 situation. We did find that communities, there is groups of people such as the elderly in shelters in some of the homes that do not have access to these vaccines, are not able to get. With the partnership with the Reserve Bank in Pretoria, we're able to bring the elderly to the vaccination sites and provide them with transport, provide them with a meal, and yeah, they get the shots, and we're able to then get them safely back home.
Chuma, fantastic initiative. Very impressive to hear about United Way and what you guys do. The fact that you're, like you said, more than 120 years old is very interesting in itself. But yeah, great to catch up with you. We're looking forward to finding out what comes next with United Way and Western Province Rugby. I think from my side and on behalf of all of the viewers and of course on behalf of all the clubs that are out there, thanks so much for the continued support, and we look forward to finding out what's coming next between Western Province and United Way.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And for the beneficiaries that have benefited from this meeting, and yeah, so all the best for the future, and we'll see you again.
There we go, folks. The Chuma Kwalela, the Executive Director for United Way, and wow, fantastic partnership. World Literacy Day then, yesterday, rolled out, at least last week, rolled out at a number of schools in Cape Town. And of course, if you were watching last week, you would have seen the interview there with Pay It Forward as they helped with the distribution of the books at the primary schools and high schools. So great initiative, and we're looking forward to finding out what comes next. Welcome back, folks. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have you along every week, Monday to, well, at least on Wednesdays from 9 to 10. And of course, don't forget our repeats every Saturday morning on Cape Town TV from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Right, well, the under-20s, of course, as you know, we keep following their progress. The under-20s are playing on a fortnightly basis at the moment in the SA Rugby Under-20 Cup. And as we do, we go behind the scenes to catch up with some of the players. This coming week, they travel to Emirates Park in Johannesburg, where they take on the Lions under-20s. Let's go behind the scenes.
Yeah, after the Leopards game, which to us was quite like in our heads was a loss, it's been really good. EP, I think it was important for us to almost regain a little bit of respect in the tournament to show them that we are here to play. And then the Bulls game was just awesome. Like, we knew that they were a form team that had just beaten the Sharks and they had a close game with the Lions, so they were always going to be tough. But yeah, I sat bench that game, but it was just so cool to see the team performing so well on Newlands after a poor start. We were under a lot of pressure. Our scrums were struggling a lot. We were man down as well. And the fact that we kept them out for what felt like forever was yeah, it's a very proud moment for us. Yeah, obviously we're looking forward to the game. It's a opportunity for us to state ourselves as the best team in the tournament. Yeah, there are quite a few tests going on at the moment, and there will be some boys that only fly down a couple of hours before the game. But it's just going to be something that we have to put up with and just accept it as it comes. And when it's time to perform, we have to perform. That's it. Yeah, it almost just gives us a little taste and keeps us excited and keeps us interested. I mean, like we look up to those guys, so to have them training with us just gives us that little bit of insight into what we could be with. It is really cool to be in the mix with such people, just like on an everyday Tuesday like today.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice getting to play some rugby again, getting to play with the guys, and we've had some good games so far. We started off with a draw against the Leopards, which wasn't the greatest, but we've only gone up from there, so it's good. Yeah, they were on our line for like about 5 minutes at the end of the game, and everybody just pulled together and we defended them and eventually held them up, and getting the win over the Bulls is just, it was a big accomplishment for us. Yeah, I think that defense at the end comes down to a lot of chemistry and stuff, and always just wanting to play for each other. So I think that definitely is a big part of the chemistry and all of that. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be one of our harder games as well. So if we get a win from this, we're going to take a lot of confidence from that. But yeah, also there's some guys who are writing exams on Thursday, so some guys are only flying on Friday, so it's a bit of a disruption. But yeah, I think everybody's very excited. Yeah, and it's like you see some of them in the gym sometimes, and they just like have a look. They very friendly people, and they always willing to give you tips and like help you out if you want to ask them any questions or anything like that. And the facilities are great. Yeah, it's probably one of the best facilities I've ever trained at.
Ja, ik denk de eerste game was maar een beetje moeilijk voor ons geweest. Altijd de eerste game in de toernooi. Wij gaan altijd de perfecte game wezen, maar ik denk dat wij maar net baie van de span hoe hulle terugkomen naar de eerste game. Ze het die EP en die ballen mooi gewend. So ik denk ons kan hij zelfvertrouwen vat en oorgevat aan die Lions game. Ja, het is een eeuwigheid gevoel en ik denk ons allemaal was op die rand van de stoelen, maar ik denk maar net de laatste 5 minuten sê maar net baie van die span, soos ek gesê het, wat die trui vir ons beteken en wat WP Rugby vir ons beteken. Ons het vir 5, dink nie 5, dalk bietjie meer as 5 minute net op ons lyn, doellyn defense, so ek dink maar net dit sê baie van ons span. Die Lions is eerst op die log en ek dink net ons wil onsself challenge, ons wil teen die beste speel en ons wil die beste wen. Sodat ons weet, sodat ons net vir onsself kan verbeter en net ons beste kan doen in die kompetisie. Ons gefokus, ons almal weet die hele span wat ons het 'n job om Vrydag te doen. En ek dink soos akademies is eerste prioriteit nou op almal se koppe. Almal wil universiteit deurkom, maar ek dink net as dit Vrydag kom, soos Donderdag, Vrydagoggend wanneer ouens toetse skryf, is dat hulle eerste prioriteit, maar as hulle sodra hulle op 'n vliegtuig klim en in Johannesburg kom, weet ons dan het ons 'n job om te doen en dis om die Lions te wen.
Yes, I think we had a tough start, but I think we're getting better. Obviously, the win against the Bulls was a nice one, and from here we're just building to get better. I think it definitely just shows that we're getting together as a unit and we're working towards getting better as a team. And I think there's nothing that binds us together like a tough 5 minutes there at the end. And even for the Oaks not playing, just to be part of a win like that, it's a good feeling, and we're looking forward to what's coming up. Yes, obviously beating the Bulls put a bit of a target on our back, but as you said, the Lions beat the Bulls as well. So I think it's a battle of the top of the log now. Obviously traveling to Joburg, so that's also something we need to adapt to. But yeah, just looking forward to going with the boys and yeah, supporting the Oaks that are there, and yeah, let's hope we can get the win.
Our DHL Western Province Rugby under-20 side then getting ready for action as they leave on Thursday to play the Lions at Emirates Park in Johannesburg on Friday. Right, folks, well, of course, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, as you can see behind me in all its glory, remains open 24/7. As you know, well, it was in fact fantastic to pop around there last week. I went for a cup of coffee last week and bumped into Alistair from Mark, DHL Stormers prop, who happened to be doing some shopping at MChem Pharmacy. Of course, MChem Pharmacy is the Stormers' official pharmacy. Right, folks, well, you do need to know, of course, that you must get a grip on the flu season. And speaking to the experts at MChem 24-hour pharmacy, they'll tell you that there are a number of high-risk categories, such as pregnant women, the elderly, and the young children. And, of course, according to the Centre for Disease Control, children younger than 5 years old, especially those younger than 2, are at high risk and, of course, at risk of developing serious flu-related complications. Now, the flu vaccination offers the best defense against flu and its potentially serious consequences, and it also reduces the spread of flu to others. Now, getting vaccinated has been shown to reduce flu illnesses, doctors' visits, missed work days and missed school days, and of course reduces the risk of flu-related hospitalization and death in children. And that preventing and reducing the severity of illness associated with flu will ease the burden on patients and the country's healthcare system. So you can get your flu vaccine at MChem 24-hour pharmacy at any one of the clinics there at MChem from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. in the evening every day of the week. No appointment needed, just walk right in. MChem 24-hour pharmacy is always open and always there, just for you. Who knows? Pop around at MChem Pharmacy, you might bump into Alistair from Mark or one of the Stormers players. We'll take an ad break. We'll be back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking club rugby. As you know, of course, under regulations, clubs are allowed to train, they're allowed to play. Of course, the fixture side is all happening according to approval from Western Province Rugby, but a number of clubs have in fact taken the decision to have some friendly fixtures. We're going to talk about that a little bit later during the course of the show, but at the same time a number of clubs have decided to bring their players back to the field, and as you know, we are catching up with these clubs as they bring the players back to the field, where they clearly are making an effort to stay connected and of course are making an effort to provide an experience to the players. Villages Rugby Football Club is one of these clubs. We went out there on Tuesday. We managed to catch up with some of the players behind the scenes, and we also managed to catch up with Villages coach Warren Edwards. Let's take a look at their experience.
Yeah, it was quite a difficult thing. We had started last year. We had a really cool setup going. A lot of old guys came back to help, just as coaches, as mentors, and they got a gears going. Even though it was a very young, it was my first time in Villages as well, and immediately there was a gears around what's going on. This is our goal. It might not be this year, it might not be the year after that, but we're building something that will be competing for first and second. And that was immediate from the get-go in a friendly, inviting way. And all of a sudden to have it just cut short was difficult. I mean, it was like building up for a New Year's Eve, and then it just didn't happen. And all the excitement of wanting to play. And then we played a few friendlies against Valspan, UCT, and we lost, but we played with, as I said, some new guys, and it was a lot of fun. And running, exciting, rugby, and it was to go into immediate lockdown. It was difficult. Some guys were cooped up in flats, and some guys were stuck in communes, and they couldn't get the training that they wanted to do. They were running around where they could at night, and there was a good talk on the chats just to say let's get some fitness out, but it was difficult. It was really difficult for guys playing and trying to get going to continue that, put that way. It was overwhelming, and I think a lot of guys pulled hamstrings in the first touch rugby warm-up that we had back. It was also, look, they opened up the doors, we could start playing again, and guys started coming back slowly but surely, getting their fitness levels up. And when we went into that second that just cut everyone's, again I use the word fierce, it cut everyone's emotions down to nothing, but it is what it is. It happened to everyone, put it that way, it happened to everyone. It wasn't just us, but... Yeah, and absolutely. When we started up again, all of a sudden, guys, new faces again. I saw what new faces, more guys that we'd never seen before from neighbouring clubs. They just pulled in. They're still playing at other clubs, but they just want to play. So I mean, our head coach here, or our managers here, said, whoever wants to play, whether you come from next door neighbours, whether you come from 3 clubs over, it doesn't matter. Just get rugby playing again, and it'll also teach other guys who haven't played with them to play a different type of rugby or learn something new from the other guys. And it was nice to see the rugby come back. Was a hell of a lot of fun. We got a guy here, he's one of the players and one of the members of the club, and he started running the gym on his side just to get guys who don't have the opportunities to go to the Virgin Actives or the active zones, whatever they're called. He said, if you guys can't do that, then come here and I'll set something up for you. So even the players are coming around to help each other get to training, and other players started giving each other lifts from far away, from as far as Strand and so on, to get all the way out to Claremont, and then taking them back in the evenings. I mean, that's a chance to get the guys together, come play and come enjoy it, come and actually play and enjoy the sport. That really brings a lot of people across the whole of the South Peninsula together, so a lot of fun.
It was a very good experience. There's a gym here, the fields are here, very good fields. Yeah, it was a good experience, and I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we thought maybe we were gonna play last year, but then unfortunately we didn't. But then we continued practicing gym sessions, field sessions. Like, yeah, hopefully we can wait till next year. Yeah, we really wanted to run on the field. We were very excited. We played against each other, then we played against Hamiltons. Yeah, it was a good experience. After 1 year, everyone really wanted to play. Then yeah, we really enjoyed the game. Yeah, the guys are still coming over. It's just that today, most of the guys were a bit late from work, but then the guys are coming over. Listen, we usually have gym sessions on Monday, Tuesdays. Yeah, the guys are coming over. We're getting new faces, the old guys as well. So yeah, we've been working hard.
In the beginning it's difficult, yes, it's like you're starting all over again. But once you get into the rhythm, it gets a bit easier, but the fitness takes long to get in. But once you get there, it just goes up and up from there. Yes, it was very exciting for the guys. Everyone just wanted some game time. They just want to get it going, and it brought the guys together. And once the guys start coming together, just the numbers start coming, and eventually it was enough numbers, and we just came together and we played together, and it was nice because we got to new year, so I got to learn the guy who's who and the guys' names and all those things, so it was exciting, new faces and all those things. Yes, it is. They have brilliant facilities here. It's very nice to be able to play and come gym after you play and just get that bit of extra fitness in. And everyone's welcoming here. They allow you to use the gym whenever you need it to. So the atmosphere is nice. They're very organized. They let us know exactly what we're going to do before it's done. I started here and they gave us a breakdown of the whole year already, what's going to happen. So it's exciting to know what's to come. We can see by the numbers every week there's coming 1 or 2 new faces, and we're seeing this happen every week, and this makes more guys want to come, just get in there and start start off, and the more numbers we have, the better it's going to be for the club, because we want to start things going.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a tough challenge to take on, just to try and keep the boys entertained, keep them going, throwing the ball around. But with the whole stop-start last year and with the league being cancelled, we're just trying to fix things. We're doing a lot of planning behind the scenes now. With this league being cancelled now as well, we still, at the moment, Monday, Wednesdays, all our players are allowed to use our gym facilities. And then Thursdays we're doing skills and a bit of touches, and then from October we're going to start pre-season for next year. Yeah, absolutely, and you can see once they were on the field, you can see the smiles on the faces, always just want to be out and about. So I'm encouraging them to keep on coming, even though there's no games planned from our side at the moment. But hey, come and throw the ball around with your mates, spread the word, let's keep on going. And like I said, from October we're going to be going pre-season going forward for next year. When we start with the touches and that, I always tell them, start a bit slow, but the oaks go full out from the word go, and then you can see the hammies go, and we've got to look after our bodies. It's realistically we aren't 100% fully conditioned, so we've got those building blocks. So yeah, it's good to be out here just throwing the ball around. Be a member here for 600 Rand, it's 50 Rand a month. Come and use the facilities, 10% off it in the clubhouse, and come and meet our members, come and business network, promote yourselves. It's not just about rugby. We at the end of the day, guys have got to work. Rugby is a short stint career. The injury could happen any time, so you've got to look after yourself, the bigger picture. Yeah, 100%, and it's the last time we won the league was in 2000. So yeah, we want to get back on that pedestal again. But yeah, for the youngsters coming through, we are struggling with our junior system at the moment. That's why we're going to start the Villages Rugby Academy from next year, a full-time high-performance rugby academy, Monday to Friday, from mid-Jan to the end of September. With the aspirations of overseas opportunities as well, through our business network in opportunities and our relationships with the overseas clubs. So we encourage our local high school students, matric boys for next year, come through to Villages.
Welcome back, folks. There we go. Villages Rugby Football Club. Nice to see them on the field and at least staying active, giving the players a bit of an opportunity to have a bit of a run. Yeah, fantastic stuff. And then I think we'll keep following the progress and stay connected to the clubs, especially the clubs that are back on the field and making an effort to stay connected to their players. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, it's another derby. It's Busy Bees and Laguna. They played their first friendly fixture over the weekend. We managed to catch the highlights as well as some of the players, or at least some of the interviews behind the scenes. Cape Rugby TV every Wednesday 9 to 10. Nice to have you watching. Right, folks, well, of course, as you know, some of the clubs have opted for the opportunity to have friendly fixtures, and as expected, we did think that a lot of clubs would choose derby-style matches for the sake of probably for the sake of convenience, for the sake of travelling, and other aspects such as that. Of course, all the friendly fixtures at the moment are approved and endorsed, as has always been by Western Province Rugby. This weekend, Kraaifontein played against Fora, but also one of the derbies that we've been missing for a long time, Busy Bees against Laguna at Langa. Now, the results is not what's important here. It's the fact that the players managed to get on the field. We managed to catch some of the highlights of the game, as well as some of the interviews behind the scenes.
Yes, it is. First of all, we have to thank the Mighty God for giving us this opportunity to play what we love. The guys were hungry. Very hungry to play rugby. As we see, we have a lot of young stars. Some of them are making their first team debutantes. Yeah, it is. The guys were very, very hungry to play rugby. Yes, yeah, the score doesn't matter. We keep on learning each and every day. Every game we play, the guys get so much experience that they need. Yes, indeed, we're very excited to play more rugby because we want to improve each and every game we play. So we'd like to have more games. Yes, it is because now it is like an off-season because we're going to play every weekend.
As you can see, we managed to play our juniors, under 16, under 20, second team and the first team. You could see the hunger of the boys. It's been a while. So we managed to come here and play a good rugby. They were very excited. As the coaches as well, we were very excited to see the youngsters. I mean, plus minus 6 boys, they were making their debut on the first team, so which is good, and that shows that the development of our team it's been wonderful. So we're very excited that we have a nice chain, and we're proud to have those boys on the field again. Yeah, we knew it's gonna be tough. We played against BZB before, but we always knew it's gonna be tough. And you can imagine and give the boys a debut in this kind of a team. BZB they playing Super League B for a reason. We're still playing in the zones. We're building. We're getting there. I'm proud of my boys, and we're looking forward to play another game. You know, the guys pitch up in the practices, but to be honest, it's very hard for us because we always cut our practices because we have boys that they staying lower, they walk 1 kilometer back home, so it's very dangerous to them. And we have no one to help us, we have no sponsors, but we managed to pull through. You can imagine La Cunha is a very big team. The Springbok that are coming from this kind of team, Skumbuzo Noche is one of them. I played in this team as well. I managed to play Western Province under 18, SA schools, under 20 and under 21. So we need some of the boys to come to the ranks from this team. So we actually need help from everyone who can manage to help us to have a sponsor so that the guys can keep coming and have a nice time in the rugby.
I think the matter of the times of unknowing with the lockdown and opening up again,
all of us now are getting hungry for rugby, so immediately when the opportunity arises, everyone just puts themselves in and commits themselves 100%. It's just a matter of all of us coming to training and putting it all together. Today, if you were to note in the first team, I think about 7 of us came from the development of Busy Bees. It's a young squad. We're mixing with the people that have been playing first team, and they've welcomed us with opening arms. They've developed us. They're still in there trying to be, not showing us that we're still young, but making us a part of a team. And I think we just appreciate that, not to be left out, but being put in the team. Everyone now is happy that their body got to actually be on the field. Now it's just a matter of relaxing and picking it up the following week. I think the rivalry will always be alive as teams that's been competing since before I even started playing rugby. So it's a great opportunity to actually play now in a rivalry that I know has existed for so long. I think that's just the main goal now, playing all these friendlies so that we know next year we're picking up a solid team so that we can go into the league with the willingness that we've put in this year. The fact that we can do it now just shows that next year there's nothing that can stop us.
Exactly, it brought a lot of growth to our club. The amount of numbers that Busy Bees have, it's not a big club, but it's a growing club at the moment. I mean, the amount of juniors we have now, from girls to boys, it's growing, and it's growing at a rapid rate, and that's exactly what we want in our communities, you know what I mean? Rugby to grow our community. Yeah, the development has grown over the last 2 seasons that I've been here, and I've plucked a couple of young fellows from the under-20s and brought them through to the senior team, and I mean, the senior boys are guiding these fellows now. I mean, today we had 9 of them playing in the first team, and for them to play the way they did and to get the score we did, 49-5, it's not a bad score. And this is just the growth that we want, playing against senior fellas and then developing these boys as well.
Invincible.
Yeah, the reflection on the scoreboard, it's got nothing to do with the result, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, these guys just wanted to play a bit of footy today and come out, be with the community and play good rugby, you know what I mean? Get on the field. We've been missing this game for such a long time. And with COVID, with all the protocols in place at our club, we need to follow those, and this is what brings growth to Busy Bees. Being responsible and looking after our players and making sure that we don't take nothing home to the families. And this is what rugby is all about, camaraderie and family, Yeah, this is the season of basically growth for us, bringing the young fellas through and bringing the game to where it needs to be for next season. And the amount of friendlies that we've got leading up to the couple of games that we're going to play, this will just grow us for next season. So when the season kicks in January next year, I reckon we should be well okay. Preparation will be very good for us.
There we go. Great to see teams playing rugby. Isn't that what we're all waiting for? Is just seeing some rugby action. And I think, as I mentioned before the clip, the important thing there is not the results. Although the bragging rights did go to Busy Bees on the day, it's not the results. It's the fact that the players were able to get on the park, they were able to socialize, and we think that is an absolutely incredible opportunity for the players. Of course, all done according to the health and safety protocols and on approval from Western Province Rugby, which is of course a very strict regulation. Right, folks, well, as you know, on a weekly basis you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, right? So if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, right, of course you know the Score energy drinks, all you need to do is go to our Facebook page where we are currently running the Spot the Logo competition. So if you want to win a case or put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks, then you simply need to go to the Facebook page, see if you can spot the logo. And incidentally, the logo that we posted last week was Lagunya. So we took the Lagunya logo, made a few changes, and we asked you if you recognize the logo. And incredibly, well, maybe not incredibly, but as expected, one of you managed to get it right. This week's winner, then, congratulations to Clarence Riffle. Clarence spotted the logo and guessed it right. It was Lagunya. Clarence, you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks as well as a set of Cape Rugby TV masks, courtesy of CTC Sports. We'll, of course, reach out to you on Facebook Messenger and get a hold of you, and you can come and collect your prize. Right, folks, we'll take an ad break, and when we come back from the break, we carry on taking a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. We'll catch up with Faisal Felton from Western Province Rugby. They've been incredibly busy with a whole bunch of initiatives and more initiatives coming up. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Nice to have you along. We carry on talking club rugby. Well, of course, as you know, there has been recent announcements of, well, of course, as you know, the president announced over the weekend that we're going down to level 2. But a few weeks ago, Western Province Rugby, SA Rugby, announced the fact that clubs are allowed to have friendlies, allowed to have fixtures. Of course, at Western Province, some clubs have decided to have some friendly fixtures. We're going to talk about that in a second. But of course, also over the last couple of weeks, a lot of activity at Western Province Rugby in terms of the growth of women's rugby. The under-20s are doing really well, and of course, there are some festivals on the cards for women's rugby. Not to mention the fact that last week Western Province went out and handed out the books to celebrate World Literacy Day. As you know, we spoke to Chuma Kwalela from United Way in the beginning of the show. But joining me more now, to tell me more at least, is Faisal Felton, Western Province Rugby. Faisal, welcome back.
No, good evening, JP, and good evening, listeners. Yeah, always good to be back.
Faisal, let's start at the beginning. We opened the show up tonight, and of course last week as well. We followed you guys around for the World Literacy Day. I know that you've been instrumental in putting this project on the table. You've been instrumental in building the relationship with United Way as well. Last year it all started dishing out 1,000 food parcels, and now you've brought United Way back.
Yeah, no, definitely, JP. Again, I'd like to thank United Ways and Pay It Forward and that. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the women's collective that's driving it. And, it's good to have the ladies on board and, assisting and helping within the communities and that there. And I think from our side, my role is merely, supportive and that there. And I think, the key is having these ladies on board and getting out there into the schools and that there. So I think from the women's collective coming up with the idea and getting in terms of helping and assisting in the communities, I think that's the type of initiatives that, Western Province would like to be a part of. And, with partners like United Ways, that just makes it easier.
Faisal, give us a little bit more information of last week. I mean, last week you went to the schools. We've got some footage of you guys packing books, and clearly you had to do a bit of work there, separating books between the high schools and primary schools. But tell us a little bit more about that initiative, even though we've all seen the footage. You chose some schools which you must, of course, have a relationship with already.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the initiative comes again, from the Women's Collective, who have identified areas and schools in the areas that need assistance and help. And I think, from rugby, Western Province Rugby, the idea is basically the involvement in the community. And I think, what we want to do is uplift the community, whether it's sport, whether it's education, whether it's just being involved and active in that. And I think it's a great initiative, again, coming from the collective, and it's about creating that access point. And I think the key thing is having, the ladies on board, but at the same time, the ladies driving and, the interest in the kids and getting the youngsters involved in that. And I think ultimately, listening to the Women's Collective, the key and the focus is, again, upliftment of the community and getting our kids active and involved and, having access, to those, facilities and communities through the Women's Collective and that.
We've seen quite a lot of success already from some of the clubs that have adopted the concept of having a club rugby women's representative. We look at Esterfields, who had a tremendous amount of success. False Bay Rugby Club, we mentioned it, starting off with 5 players, now more than 55. Well, that was 2 weeks ago, probably now more than 60. But clearly the process over the last year, at least, the escalation of awareness for women's rugby, the escalation of activity for women's rugby, it's starting to bear fruit now, Faisal.
No, definitely, JP, and I think I want to commend the clubs in terms of, latching onto the initiative, and especially the ladies that have taken and put their hands up. And I think, it's good to, I always say we're very fortunate, in the sense that we have our clubs, we have our support structures, and we have our members within the community that's always willing to help and assist. And I think coming up with the initiative and the buy-in, in terms of, the objective and goals in terms of what we want to achieve and what we want to do. And I think, from rugby and, Western Province, the responsibility is there for our communities and that there. And I think, just the mere fact of these ladies putting their hands up and the champions that are driving it and the passion that's there, I think, we definitely have something here in terms of getting out into the communities and, come up with these initiatives. Like I said, not generally looking at specifically at rugby, but it's sport in general, focusing on education, focusing in terms of, that interaction and involvement in terms of how we can help and assist, having partners like United Way has paid forward that have come on board to try and assist and help us in terms of achieving these goals within these communities.
This coming Friday at City Park, you've got a YTC festival. This is also dedicated specifically to women. Just tell us a little bit more about YTC and the festival itself.
Yeah, so the YTC is obviously the youth training center, and I think the great work that they're doing in terms of, uplifting and promoting, sport within the schools. I think that is key. I think, from the book drive that we had, we were out at one of the schools. It's a school that we might not necessarily have gone to, but I think it was great to see the excitement and the joy in terms of, the learners realizing the opportunity to actually access the sport. And I think through the YTC, those are the channels that we will use in terms of promoting, getting the sport, getting it out there. And it's just more about, the schools coming together and basically the festival in terms of playing and the interaction and engagement with the learners in that. And I think, from rugby and the YTC, they're doing great, tremendous work in providing that after-school, facility and opportunity for the learners to, engage in sport. So the age groups, looking at primary school, moving up to high schools, where, we have a central venue where we come together, we train, and from there, basically also look at identifying players who have, were given the opportunity to take the next step. So it's all about identifying talent where we might not necessarily have found or, found that talent.
Faisal, the other element that I suppose that a lot of people are talking about is the fact that we are finally seeing some rugby activity again, even though limited, even though in very small pockets. But some of the clubs have chosen to play some friendlies. That must be refreshing for you guys to be talking about things like fixtures and where to play and have you got referees and so on.
No, definitely. I think it's fantastic. As you said earlier on, it's baby steps. I think it's just more about people having confidence to come out, to get out there and to start playing. The clubs that have they've basically taken up, the opportunity now to get out there, to get out in the field. And, I think in time to come, you'll find a lot more clubs latching on. I know there's been sort of, some of the clubs, looking at 15s. There might not necessarily have been interest, but when it comes to sevens, tag rugby, I think that's what about it. It's again creating opportunities. And I think, from sport, we want to get out there, we want to start playing, we want to get our spectators, our people back out in the field. This is just the starting point. And I think, again, it's just the mere fact of being out in the field on a Saturday and hopefully, get back that normality and, get the clubs operational again.
Just on a final note, Faisal, and maybe I know maybe you're not prepared for this question, but last week we saw the Minister of Sport, the President of SA Rugby, Mark Alexander, go on a live stream. We also saw former Springbok captain John Smith and current Springbok captain Siya Kolisi talk about the fact that people should get vaccinated. And that there's a big drive for that. We also saw President Cyril Ramaphosa come out on Sunday night encouraging people to get vaccinated. Is that also in the line of thinking of from a Western Province point of view? Are you guys also asking people to seriously consider getting vaccinated?
Look, I think a lot of people have choice in terms of whether they take the vaccination or not. And I think from sport and in general, if we want to get back into the stadiums and we want to get back out onto the fields, there's certain requirements in terms of what government regulation requires and what's needed. And I think it's definitely something that we would encourage if it means us getting out on the field, and if it means that we can fast track the process in terms of when we come out, when we get out on the field. I think currently at the moment, there is a bit of a dire need to get our spectators back, into the stadiums and out there. And if it means that we need to be vaccinated in order to get out there, then I think it's definitely something that we definitely encourage, our supporters, our players and everybody. I think, the clubs, we're struggling. I know a lot of the guys come weekends, they lost, they don't know what to do. And, if our side, I think we are looking at in terms of how do we encourage or how do we, get out onto the field. And we are looking at, doing the research in terms of what is needed to get our clubs back and what our players back out on the field.
Yep, Faisal. In the meantime, well done on all the activities. The women's growth plan is certainly starting to bear fruit. Great to see some of the clubs. We saw Busy Bees and Laguna playing a derby match over the weekend. There's a few matches taking place this weekend. Of course, as we know, and you might want to emphasize that no matches are allowed to happen without your strict approval and, of course, strict COVID guidelines.
Yeah. No, I think, JP, again, anybody wanting to play, any club that's playing an app, there's certain, boxes that we need to tick. And I think, again, everything you've done according to regulation doesn't stop us from, playing and enjoying the sport and enjoying, the game that we love. But again, it's a reminder, as you said, to the people out there and the clubs, we need to ensure that strict protocols are in place. The fans are not yet back. So, baby steps, we will get there. We just need to obviously reach the hurdle now of basically having confidence in terms of playing fixtures, making sure fixtures are being played. And then the next step is basically hopefully bringing spectators, bringing our fans back and having tournaments as well. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I think the whole world is waiting for that. But yes, Faisal, we'll leave it at that. We'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, thanks, JP.
There we go, folks. Faisal Felton, Western Province Club Rugby. And while, there remains these difficult times and difficult challenges ahead, but Western Province Rugby is certainly driving the initiative in the background to keep the membership active, to grow the various parts of club rugby, and well, we'll keep following the progress, and we'll keep bringing you the latest information of what's happening in club rugby. And of course, we'll remind all of you to stay safe out there. Remember, follow all the health and safety protocols, and we'll say to you then, we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.